Hello. Rockstar Showcase time. Now, today I am going to showcase with specificity the lovely Rebecca Ledger. And Rebecca has been amazing since I have been working with her, and the progress that she's been making has been astonishing. But we are going to get quite specific in terms of her podcast launch. And this has been her 2021 project. And it has been her way of taking a deeper connection with her crowd. Now, when we're looking at adding a different medium of connection with our audience, what we don't want to do is we don't want to make things more difficult than they need to be. And sometimes what people say to me is, do you know what, I just couldn't add podcasting in. It's just too much. It's just going to add another layer of things that I need to think about. And it's hard and it's complicated and it's difficult. And it's not any of those things. So the upsides of podcasting is that it's a different way to connect with your audience. And it's a very consumable and accessible way to connect with your audience. Now, I am much more likely personally to listen into a podcast than I am to watch a video. So generally when I am at my desk and I'm working and I'm doing things, I'm not watching video, I'm not consuming video. The time that I am consuming video is more in my downtime, and sometimes that's not looking to be businessy AF in any way, shape or form. It's the time that I'm unwinding and I am restoring and resting, etc. But I very often, when I am either cooking or I'm sorting things out or I'm walking this here pooch, yes, I have a podcast coming through my headphones, and that is a way that I consume content with ease. Now, Rebecca's audience are bakers, they are cooks, they are people who have cake businesses. Now, an awful lot of their time is going to be spent cooking, and therefore they may not be able to put their attention into reading a blog. They may not be able to put their attention during that time into watching a video, but they are more able to listen to a podcast. They can have that on in the background when they're doing things. Now, I'll often say, my podcast is great company on the dog walk, on the school run, when you go out for any kind of walk, generally. I'm great in the gym when gyms are open. People even listen to me in the bath. I'm great when you're cooking. I can be company in all sorts of situations that you wouldn't be able to read a blog doing or necessarily be able to watch a video doing. So it's a great use of content. Now, you don't have to reinvent the wheel either with this content. You can use the audio from the videos that you are already recording to create a podcast. You can talk through the blog that you have written to create your podcast. You can use the social media posts that you are already doing and just read them out and talk about them as your podcast. So it doesn't have to be a massive time drain. Your podcast can take you 10, 20 minutes a week in order to create a different type of connection and a different type of real sort of plugging in an intimate type of content. If you are literally chatting into somebody's ears, that is a really intimate type of content. Great for know, like and trust. They're still getting to hear your voice. They're still getting to connect with you. Great for getting your expertise out there, and really good for creating connection. So I'm just going to show you that way is, look at her artwork. It's fantastic. It is so eye-catching. It does what it says. It's Cake Bites with Rebecca Ledger. And what she said is that, she's 36 days into the year when she wrote this, and she's ticked off her first goal for the year. And it was to start a podcast, and she started it in 12 days. So she went through the Perfectly Podcasting program, which is available right now, and it's less than 50 quid. So you can get your hands on that. She worked through it, and she set up her podcast program in less than a fortnight, and she took it step by step, because when in Perfectly Podcasting, I bring it down to really manageable chunks for her to be able to look at each step one by one and be able to bring the podcast to life. Her first episode is out there in the world and went out last Friday at my time of recording this. It had already had a stack of downloads when I spoke to her on the Monday. So over the weekend, she'd already had a stack of downloads on that podcast, people listening in. And she said to me when she gave me the figure, she said, "Is that good?" And I went, "Would you think that that was good if that many people had read your blog in a couple of days?" She went, "I'd think that was awesome." So it had actually hit an awful lot of ears during that period of time over the weekend, which with worky, businessy kind of stuff might not always be the peak time for people to listen in, because so often people try and disengage a little bit more from that kind of thing over a weekend. But we know Rebecca's market, we know lots of them do work during the week and then do their cake business on the side, or that there's a lot of orders that go out over a weekend because that's what their consumers want. So we know that they are around a little bit more on a weekend perhaps than your average business owner. Not that any business owner is average by any stretch of the imagination. So the next episode is due to go out this week, and we're already looking at how we can use her podcast in terms of the complement to her other content, and in terms of creating part of her funnel to conversion. So that podcast is then going to start to direct people to her products and services, and to tie in with different themes that she is going to be having in her business throughout the weeks and months. And we're tying in episodes that will be super relevant to the things that she's selling, which again is another touch. It's another way of connecting with her crowd. So that is out there in the world. It took her 12 days. If you are interested in adding a podcast to your mix, then you can get the Perfectly Podcasting program that will walk you through, take you by the hand, each and every step that you need to take in order to bring your podcast to life. And it's super easy, it's super accessible, and you can make that happen in your business and have a different way to connect with your crowd, an intimate way to connect with your crowd, a way to recycle content that you are already creating and get it out there to your audience. So go and check it out if you're interested in adding that to the mix. And not only that crowd connection, a podcast is a great way to get in front of a new audience. So you are going to be then in iTunes, you can be on Alexa, you can be on Spotify, you can be on all sorts of different new platforms that you have not been exposed to, and therefore be in front of new potential customers and lovely people to create relationships with. Go and check it out. It's Perfectly Podcasting, and I will put the link with the video so that you can go and have a butcher's. If you've got any questions, let me know. But that's it. Woohoo! Rebecca's podcast is out in the world, and I am super excited. Have a great day. Speak soon. Bye.